Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this video we are going to check out JASMY Coin's price chart, and finally here we are. So if you remember, in the previous update in JASMY we were, I believe, right around the highs, and the idea was that it's a bit too soon to jump into like a complete bullish conclusion, which suggests that our final bottom is in. Why? Two reasons. Number one, in terms of classic TA, we were back then still under this important level, and I said any kind of move up, as long as we are not getting back above it, should be interpreted as just a simple pullback. And what's gonna happen next if this scenario is happening? You know it, a continuation of the move down. This was reason number one for why we were a bit skeptic back then about this move up being an optimistic sign. Reason number two, if you want to say that we're gonna have, for example, our final low around here, maybe this is like a very important support, then okay, you need to be able to find off of the lowest low in this region a 5-wave up, and inside of wave 1, 3 and 5 for the subwaves we must be able to find also 5 waves. And back then to about these areas we were only able to find two sets of 5 waves on the upside, and to me this suggested, well, okay, if we want to be bullish in JASMY, we need to wait a little bit more and see, are we going to have a consolidation pattern followed by another move up in order for me to say that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave or not. On the other hand, we said if from here we get a very strong move down, well, okay, at that point these are going to be the subwaves for just a simple ABC zigzag. This was the main reason for why right in here we said let's just wait a bit more and sit this one out and see what is going to happen next, because that is going to actually decide overall in JASMY Coin what is going on, and are we going to have another lower low or not. And especially I believe I said what you do not want to see if you want to remain optimistic is a strong move down in order to take this important low down here about 1.4 cents, because that would pretty much confirm that you are having an ABC in here and not an impulse, meaning our move down is not over. And unfortunately that scenario pretty much played out. So the question for today's video is this: are we going to from here get our final bounce back, or maybe we are going to have some more downward price action? And if we are going to have it, okay, what can be a likely target for our move down? So let's jump in, and first things first, let me tell you why generally from these areas I want to see a very strong bounce back. And the reason for that comes down to classic TA, meaning support and resistances. You see, this is a very important support area from weekly and daily time frame, at the same time between 1.1.5 to about 1.2.5 cents. And I really do not want to see JASMY going under the support, meaning we get like a successful breakout. But why? Two reasons. Number one, under here we really do not have a whole lot of strong support, so the moment that you see JASMY Coin getting a break of this thing, odds are our move down is going to continue. Number two, let's say okay, we are going to go under here and then continue our move down. Here's a problem. In our bounce back phase right in here, I'm going to argue we are once more going to see a rejection, and basically problem number two is that recovering after breaking this level, even if you want to say our move down is going to end maybe around here, and I'm absolutely wrong, is still going to be a bit of a challenge, and it is going to take some time. Okay, breaking this level is not really going to be a good sign, at least from my point of view. And here is another reason that we want to see a bounce back, a very strong move up in JASMY starting from the current point, or maybe like just a bit lower. So here's the situation. If you want to be bullish in JASMY and you want to say that right now overall we are in a correction structure, then we talked about this before, I think your best shot at finding a correction is if you say, especially now that we are having an ABC expanded flat which looks like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which in it we're going to take this important high, and then another move down into our C leg, and in this phase we are going to take the low of our wave A. But here's the thing, we are in most cases at least not going to go a whole lot lower, and for example we're going to take the lows, go just a little bit lower, and then we're going to have a very strong bounce. And in terms of the sub waves, okay, you need to find ABC down into A, ABC on the upside into wave B, and for our C leg a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure down. And if you remember, in the previous video, we specifically talked about this potential ABC expanded flat, and we said because right now we are having only two sets of 5 waves, it's a bit hard to say our move down is over, and most likely we're gonna have yet another wave down in order to have at least this 5 wave on the upside into hopefully the C leg of our expanded flat. And finally we got our move, and maybe it's best to go on a less busy chart, maybe this one. There we go. Okay, we already have the subwave. So if you want to be bullish in JASMY, then okay, from here probably to about this high you are able to find a 1 2 3 4 5 wave up, followed by that this is going to be ABC down into A, ABC up into B, and now we can have a 1 2 and then 1 2 3 4 5 wave down into wave 3, correction for 4. Now we can say it in form of an ABC and yet another impulse on the downside into our wave 5. And here's the situation right now. Okay, we have absolutely taken the low of our wave A right in here, and we did go a bit lower, but if we actually decide to go down and have some more downward price action, at that point this expanded flat is a bit going to be out of shape, which is again not really an optimistic sign if you want to believe that this point in JASMY Coin, about let's say 0.8 of a cent, is actually our final low. Do not get me wrong, it's not going to be a deal breaker, but it is going to make the picture a bit challenging and also complicated. So let's go back on our own chart. I think it was from crypto.com. There we go. In an ideal scenario, I really want to see, even starting from the current point, a very strong bounce back in order to at least get back above this level, and then let's see like a continuation of the move up, excuse me, maybe like a 1 2 3 4 5 followed by a correction down, an ABC, and then especially another move on the upside in order to get back above this important level, which the higher band of it is about 1.5 cents. And at that point I think I might be able to be bullish in JASMY with a bit more confidence. For now it is like way too soon to be optimistic and call the recent low our final one. Now what is going on in terms of Elliott's waves? So here's the situation. You can consider two different counts. If you want to say the low is N, then okay, I guess you can say this is a wave 1, correction for wave 2, another 5 down into wave 3. I'm gonna say probably to about this point, correction for 4, maybe in form of a triangle to about here, and then another move down into our wave 5, and this is on a higher degree. It's gonna be into that wave 5 that we talked about. I think it was on Coinbase's chart. So this scenario suggests that the low is already in. On the other hand, you can also kind of consider having an extension scenario. What do I mean by that? I mean this can be a wave 1, correction for 2, another move down into wave 3, correction for 4, and yet another move down into wave 5, which on a higher degree, this yellow 5 wave down at that point is actually going to be into this wave 3, correction for 4, another move down into wave 5, and God forbid if this is going to get extended, well, okay, at that point we may actually see JASMY getting a break of this level as well, which the lower band of it is about 1.1.5 cents. And here is yet another very important reason for why I think we need to see a bounce from the current area and not break this important support. You see, if we do happen to break it, okay, under here, we said it earlier, there isn't really a whole lot of strong support, and you might ask, well, okay, what is this thing then? You see, back around these areas, the idea was that at one point in JASMY, we are going to get a move down and reach to about here, because when we got this move up, this one, it was a bit too fast, and as a result of it, we did create in H4 time frame a decent gap right around this region between 0.9 cents to about exactly 1 cent area. And since I believe gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled, well, okay, all there is between the price and this important gap is just this important support. And the moment that we get a break of it, at that point, you're going to see me saying, okay, there's like 99% chance that we are going to fill this gap, which is again, from the current point, about 30% lower. And here is unfortunately another problem. You see, sometimes gaps can actually act as a support area, but we have to at the same time have a decent support around here. However, in this case, unfortunately, we really do not have a whole lot of support around this gap. So I'm gonna say, okay, even if we are going to fill this gap, you may see even at that point like a continuation of the move down in order to take the lowest low and finally reach to about this unbelievably important cluster of support areas between half a cent to about 0.7 of a cent. At that point, I'm not going to say this is like absolutely going to happen. No, it is like way too soon to be bearish like that, but I'm trying to prepare your mind for the bearish scenario, which suggests that we may see a break of this support. As long as we are not getting a break of it and we are staying above here, we can only hope that our move down is going to end here. And what you need to see starting from the lowest low is a 1 2 3 4 5 followed by a correction down. Give me something like this, and at that point I'm gonna change my tone about JASMY. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in JASMY Coin's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.